guess I'm just doing some I got a lot of different things I want to talk about. So I'm gonna do the triple conjunction on y'all just for giggles. Cause man, shout out to the dream world, man. Shout out to the dream world, right? So today is January 11th. That's 111, right? So if you into numerology, you into magic, you into occultism, we talking about gateways. Now, before I get into this conversation, I gotta bring some things to light. We want to imagine that life works in cycles. We want to imagine that no, my fault. Let me backtrack. We want to imagine that life works on a straight line, but it actually works in cycles. That's what time is. It's a cycle. Every day is the same for everybody. Age is a concept that through our diet, through our behavior, through our attitude, through what we really do in every day. Like, a lot of black people got weird traditions. A lot of people got weird traditions that literally drain you, right? The food. It's just so much that we do, right, that pulls us away from truth. So today I was hoping to pull us into truth. I want to be the space holder and the constant reminder that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That is the most profound statement you will ever hear in your life. But you have invested so much in your humanity, so much in your insanity, that you can understand the statement. You can receive the statement. You can pontificize on the statement, but to experience this statement was something that I experienced last night. Maybe we're working on a new sexual method, and I'm thinking that's really helping me in my dream world, where it's like you could reference Mantak Chia and sperm retention and things of that nature as a specific modality for leveling up. However, I've been on the PB Randolph channel or train. Yesterday we gave offerings to Pascal Beverly Randolph. It was so weird, y'all. We just woke up. And we woke up, right? Chauncey, we woke up, it was about 12 o'clock, right? We woke up dumb, stupid late. No, it felt that late. Once we got on the road, it was about 12:30. Because we had this day planned out where we was just going to go to Ohio, visit some mounds. And we still wanted to go to Ohio. So we was just like, all right, it's 12. So if we was going to go to mounds, by the time we got to the mounds, it would have been dark. So generally, we just decided, like, all right, let's just go to Toledo. But for what? Who knows, right? So we just drive into Toledo, and then we go to Manhattan Marsh, right? And for some reason, something tells me to look up Pascal Beverly Randolph. So I look up his Wikipedia page, and come to find out he died in Toledo, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. But he was born in New York. So the place that we went to is like the Manhattan Marsh. And so as soon as I got there, I went into deep trance. Like, I'm sure my wife was pissed off at me, but I didn't care. Like, I was in probably one of the deepest trances that I've been to. And of course we were doing pineal work. Now the pineal is to be considered like a mulberry bush, right? So I'm just in Toledo. First I go to the marsh and we kind of walk around, give Ashe, the kids toss coins into the pond or whatever. And you know, it's whatever. And then I'm like, all right, where do we go to next? Peep this hot shit out. This shit is crazy. I'm like, I'm gonna take the kids to a park, right? I say it's a park called Mulberry Park. So I'm like, all right, that's dope. So Mulberry is tied into the pineal gland. The park, the kids could play on the goddamn swings or something for a couple seconds, you know, catch a vibe or whatever. Tell me why I pull up to Mulberry Park, dog, and it is a cemetery. Like, not even a cemetery. No, I was like, for real? Because it wasn't even a cemetery where the park was, right? It was a space in the cemetery. Chauncey, am I lying? What my story?
No, that cemetery was a little... And I was confused on why you was going to the
I was going to the park.
And I didn't know that because you never said anything. So I was just like...
I was going to the park. So the kids... I was like, I'm going to just leave my phone in the car. I'm going to just leave you in here with Jesse. Because, mind you, we was like in the middle of something, right? You know what I'm saying? Some little shit. But I told you I was in trance. So I'm just like... I can't just be like, well, I'm in trance right now. So you just got to understand... It's like when you in trance, you cannot break your trance, no matter what. So if your wife is salty at you, that's just the sacrifice of the trance. So long story short, like this is a real live trance. Like, cause I'm going to the park, to the playground, but it don't send me to the cemetery. It send me through the cemetery. You dig me? Like, you know how you arrive to something and you don't actually pull in the driveway, you be like in front of it, it'd be like you have arrived, right? So if the park was the cemetery, I wouldn't even have pulled in. The reason why I thought that the park was probably deeper in the cemetery, y'all, right? I was like, well, maybe it ain't the cemetery, maybe the park is like adjacent to the cemetery. No, it was probably a point of time where I was just like, okay, I'm just cycling through all these different scenarios in my mind and shit. I'm like, first of all, why am I here, right? And then secondly, like, okay, I must be in communication with Pascal Beverly Randolph. And it was a lot of things, bro, that was just being said to me, like, as far as like what I'm referencing is phenomena. Like trusting your intuition, giving thanks, giving offerings, enduring sacrifices, being in fucking Toledo, Ohio, because man, it makes me appreciate Detroit, Michigan a lot. That's all I'm gonna say, right?
No comment.
So I'm literally in Toledo, like, wow, this is interesting. But I'm feeling the channel though. And I feel good the whole entire time. I give the offering and I get the download. We approach a crossroad, and that crossroad was also in my dream. So I'm like, okay, these numbers, these frequencies, these following your intuition is really what it's about. And then on the way back, we get this cold ass idea. So it's a combination of things. It's the dream world, and then your waking world is where the ideas come, or the intentions and the rituals, and then that's where your ideas come from. If you are trying to fixate on an idea or fixate on some hot shit without first following your intuition or following your deeper spiritual pathways and through your dream world, then it's going to be very difficult for you in this game. Because I tell you, the idea that we just had on the way back, it was worth it. So moving forward, Mercury conjunct Jupiter conjunct Saturn, time, awareness, sexual energy, all of that is going around. Being able to communicate with the underworld, like giving offerings to the underworld. it's Mercury conjunct Jupiter conjunct Saturn. We was at the graveyard, right? We give offerings to the tree. We just kind of observe give ashes to all the gravestones and things of that nature. And then we approach a crossroad. That's Mercury. That's Ishu, right? So in the use of doing all of this is to create something good in your life. So you do something completely random in the space of intention, in the space of ritual, in the space of creation, the same way as you making love, right? And then you have a child. Imagine that, right? Something really grotesque, right? You wouldn't just walk around having sex, right? You wouldn't just you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you wouldn't be walking around with your sexual face and things of that nature, right? So the reality of sex is very discreet. It's very hidden. It's very initiatory. It's very ritualistic. You might have your same moves, right? And things of that nature. But the creation that comes from it can be a child, or it could be something even much greater. So even deeper. If you Google Pascal Beverly Randolph, what you'll find is a book called Sexual Magic. So you can't really low-key make it up. So this happened in two things. We've been I guess you can say, experimenting on a new sexual method, because this is opposing Mantak Chia and sexual retention, right? Don't bust no nut, right? And that's cool. That may work for certain people. But Pascal Beverly Randolph, he developed the anxiolytic method. Don't ask me how I know all of this. Don't ask me how I can process all of this. But trust me, I've been working through this shit for a while under the surface. But now it's just coming to the top of the surface. But it's been like an underwork. So the anxiolytic method is a group of Syrians, right? Because he was a seafarer. So as a seafarer, he was a seafarer since the age of 12. So as a seafarer, he was able to travel all over the world for years and years and years and get lost and go to different places, get lost again. And he knew so much about so many different cultures that once he came back to America, he set a lot of what we call occultism, esotericism, mystery schools, like a lot of what we do and what we know as considered as woke, conscious, things of that nature is due to his travels through the world. So this sexual method is more or less of thinking about something, right? But learning how to orgasm at the same time with the same thing on the mind. And this is why, drum roll please, that we can no longer allow troubles and beefs in our relationships. We got to clear the air, family. Share this message. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that shit. Why? Because we fucking anyways, right? Let's keep it a buck. Let's do some magic while we fucking, though. But don't be imagining that sperm don't have value, because that sperm, that's like wanting to have a baby without a sperm, right? You need that sperm and you need that woman to orgasm, fellas. So fellas, she gotta bust that thing open. And y'all need to work on it. Y'all need to time it. Y'all need to look in each other's eyes. And y'all need to make sure, if y'all not trying to have a baby, your wife is not ovulating. Come on. What's the app called, baby?
That shit don't mean nothing. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Would you, no, do you know when you ovulating?
Yeah, you do. But I feel like this. If you're trying to get pregnant, yeah, use when you ovulate. But if a spirit is going to come through you, it's going to come through you whether you ovulate or not.
And whether you come or not.
Exactly. So
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, for the most part, if you concerned, you should learn. You know what I'm saying? It's good for the man and woman to understand, all right, babe, I'm ovulating. This is my ovulation cycle, right? Because I know about your PMS, right? So It should be the whole way. You know what I'm saying?
Normally, for 28-day cycle, normally day 14 to day 21, you're ovulating.
Day 14 to day 21 are the ovulation cycles, fellas. Right?
Some is 7 to day.
But then it's different cycles,
10,
so learn your woman. Earn your woman by learning your woman. What you said? Some cycles is different. Some women might be on a cycle for 2 days. Some women be on a cycle for a longer period, right?
Yeah. And if you got a long cycle that's more than 5 days, hit me up.
My wife said if your cycle is longer than 5 days, hit her up. Just on some GP shit, not on some even on no business shit, correct?
Nah,
just on some regular G shit. Like if it's longer than 5 days, just hit her up. I don't got nothing to do with that. Mama Mystic Mama _ Mystic 911. But yeah. That's the thing, you can't be doing this type even to the point, like a deeper point is that even if you is in a relationship, the assumption of a motherfucker is the audacity and the arrogance of that motherfucker at the same time. Because a motherfucker is switch on you and flip on you and dip on you, and you thinking that it's all good. And then you like, well, I heard some hot shit from Hood Mystic today. Let's do some sex magic. And that nigga don't even like you no more. Or sis don't even like you no more because something just happened in between yesterday and today. You understand what I'm saying? So in practicing this sexual method, my deepest desire was to experience myself lucidly, right? I didn't ever really understand it, but man, oh man, it was like a point of like, it was the most beautiful experience that I experienced, because I can say without a shadow of a doubt, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I know it. I experienced it. I don't have to read about it. I don't have to talk about it. You can believe me or not. I know for a fact. I literally, so I woke up in the dream world and I said, oh shit, I'm dreaming. And I felt it was like I was a square, and then I could like protrude out of that square any way that I want to. And that kind of explains me in real life. I'm a square in real life. So, you know what I'm saying? It just translates. But anyways, so I was in my old house, 924 10th Street in Canton, Ohio, right? I'm just sitting there and I just walk around my room. It's clean. The house is clean, but ain't nobody there. It's dark. And the reason why I dreamt of that house in specific, because that was where my trauma was at, right? That was where I was traumatized. And so waking up there is only right, because that's probably where I lost myself at. When you're traumatized, you lose yourself, right? Because you always remember yourself as this person. And then something happens really bad, right? Really, really bad. Okay, right? Sun conjunct Pluto. Let's talk about it.
So that makes sense of why we're here.
We all have to deal with our traumas, or else we will not be able to relate to each other at a high level. You can be fat, you could be ugly, you could be toe up. But if you are cool with your traumas, you are able to bring love to the table, a person is going to be attracted to you. So it's always to a point where you can't trust other people. But have you dealt with your trauma through and through? Not mentally. Have you experienced yourself as a spiritual being having a human experience? Because then I realized, hey, I can leave here now. I don't have to stay here. The whole time I'm in my lucid self, I'm trying to transition into going to different worlds and shit immediately. But the thing was, I had to sit there for a second and learn the fucking lesson, because I forgot that I was a spiritual being having a human experience. And I was trying to recover that shit mentally, y'all. I was trying to read every book. I was trying to study every star. I was trying to study every occult book. I was trying to download every channel just so I could experience the fact, because a lot of people can reference the fact LeBron James is the greatest NBA basketball player ever. But will you step on the fucking court and shoot a three-pointer in the NBA game? Probably not. You'll never experience it. So the best thing you can do is talk about it. So when we reference spirituality, it's the same old shit with a lot of these niggas, okay? A lot of these sisters, okay? Be clear. To experience something, you would be able to express it, and you would be able to translate it for free, easy. Now, the part of it is to understand it and to apply it and bring it forth in your everyday, normal waking life. Now we talking about the crown chakra, which takes place February 20th, 2021. Link is in the description or in my bio, wherever y'all do that type of stuff at. But I'm doing the same shit that I've been doing and living the same life that I've been living. It's just a deeper truth that I've been speaking to for a long time, that I can honestly say that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. That shit is real. Understand, you live 24 hours, right? Listen to this hot shit. Sleeping is something that has been actually taught to you. Because the reality of sleeping is not the reality of death or dumbness or darkness. It's still the level of experience. And I challenge you that the people who are most successful in the waking life are most successful in what you call sleep. The ability to sleep effectively. Do you know how to sleep effectively? Do you know how to dream effectively? Do you know how to deal with your body at a 24-hour level? Or are you just trying to drink your water, do your diets, read your books, come across as a fucking spiritual fucking guru out here in these streets? Or are you just trying to be 100 and authentic with your natural experience? Nigga, I don't got nothing to prove to y'all. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and that's enough for me. I'm just trying to show y'all how dope it is to fully understand that. And the challenge is you too invested in your humanity. You too invested in your trauma. It keeps playing back. It keeps playing back. It keeps playing back. Because you lost yourself. The reality of my work, the reality of the effort that I'm about to put forth in this crown chakra class, is that it can actually find a person and resolve a person from trauma. And I guarantee you, no drug, no sexual experience, no vacation, no amount of money, no particular experience within this experiential world, no studying, no job, no salary, no degree, no nothing. No relationship is going to amount to the fact of resolving your trauma and easing your pain internally, because it shows up everywhere. It doesn't just show up when you think it don't show up. Where does it show up the most, though? It shows up in your dream world. How many people do I come across? Man, I don't even fucking dream. What do you mean? You don't hold on, wait, what the fuck? It's like saying you don't wake up. It's like saying you don't wake up. You have 24 hours every day. The illusion of age is a psychic phenomena because we as gods have lost track of our melatonin cycle. We want to be kings of the overworld, but what about the underworld? Mercury conjunct Saturn conjunct Jupiter. Jupiter is infusing a new energy into all of this old shit that niggas been talking about. Niggas is so conscious and so woke, but how can we dominate the dream world with all of our melanin? Hold up, wait a second. Rewind, wait a second. We got all of this melatonin and all of this melanin, but what are we doing with it? Say, for instance, they got all of the guns and all of the missiles and all of the police, right? In the overworld. What happens in the underworld, though? What if two of us say, fuck it, we gonna set up a military base in the shadow world, right? We gonna fuck up their life on the underworld. Because why? What happens on the underworld, it births this shit. But if we're not tapped into the underworld, right, how can we control it? How can you control something from the outside looking in? You can't. It's important that we go from the inside out, but we got to understand who we are. First and foremost, if you black, you fucked up. If you a man, you fucked up. If you a woman, you fucked up. Okay? You are a spiritual being having a human experience. First and foremost, it's time to mount the fuck up. Stop living in a fucking fairy tale that wasn't even created by you. It's very, very important to dream. And guess what? That's what they afraid of. I got an experience for y'all one time. Like, I used to go to this health food store, right? They got everything for every health need. We got everything. Everything you need. I said, okay. I went in there like, all right, I need something to help me dream. She said, huh? What the fuck you need to dream for? What you mean? Huh? I said, what? This is a health food store. I said, okay, let me go to Botanica down the street. I say, hey, I need something to help me dream. They say, huh? Dream? Dream what? Dream wise? I say, no, I want to have lucid dreams. Y'all don't got nothing for me. They say, no. What the fuck you want to dream for? Ain't everything grand up here? Right? Don't you just love it on earth? Like, no, I need to tap in. I need to get into the root of causes of shit. You understand? So I've been very interested in my dream world and dream journaling and things of that nature, but it's always been as an observer. Oh, shit. I don't know what that was, but look. Yo. Last night I was in full control. And I was at the center of my trauma, the center of my expansion, and I was trying to run away from it, and I wasn't able to be present. And the fear of that experience brought me back to my body. So the work that I need to work on is that. The core fear. I was listening to a story on Instagram yesterday about Young Baby. It's tying in now. He had an interview on Vlad, and I don't really get into Vlad, but something made me just kind of sit and watch it. I was with the kids and everything, but I just like, fuck it, I want to watch it. My name was Young Kais at that time. I got it tattooed on me and shit. You feel me? So, like, at that time, you feel me, my name was Young Kais, and this young man's name was Young Baby. He was like 17. I was like 19. So I wasn't relating. I was just listening to the story. If y'all get a chance, listen to it. I'm not going to repeat it. That shit was crazy. But my story wasn't that deep either. But generally, I'm listening to his story and I'm just like, okay. And then go about my day. And then I'm realizing like, oh shit, I'm still there. I'm 36 years old. I got 4 children. I got a lovely wife. I got a wonderful career. But a large part of me, this is why I call myself the hood mystic, right? Because that was the, you could say, birth of the reality that I was a spiritual being having a human experience, because that was the result of my trauma. It made me question everything and wake me up in a certain sense. And it's been a long and arduous journey to get to this point. But when we reference Jupiter and Saturn, what we're referencing is cycles, okay? This took place in 2003, give or take. So when you reference a Saturn and Jupiter cycle, it's 20 years, right? Give or take. So if you over, I don't know how old y'all is on here. A lot of y'all is gonna reflect to back when y'all was 1 and shit. But if you like me, you can reflect to 20. So you just can reflect to a 20-year cycle. So for me, that's like when I was 16, but 16, 17, 18, 19, it's kind of the same shit, right? Waking up doing the same bullshit or whatever. But you might be 60 and 20 years ago might be when you was 40 or like around my age and that type of shit. So wherever you at today, reflect 20 years ago. I guarantee, unless you like 17 or some shit, this don't apply to you, right? But if you kind of got some skin in the game, what you're experiencing now on all levels is gauging how you've developed since then. Because trust me, 20 years cycle, Saturn, Jupiter cycle for me has been fucking hell. And I'm finally getting to a point where I'm low-key comfortable, but not really, cuz like I still got a long fucking way, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is hard fucking work, but it's dope if you can connect the dots, right? Or else you're like trying to be level with this shit, right? Trying to be on earth with this shit. It's my birthday. That's why I fucking can't stand birthdays. Like, I loathe that shit. Like, cause it's like, dog, you are 1,000,000 years old for real. Like, you are a spiritual being having a human experience. You still on that human shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why, like, this astrology shit for me, I'm using it as a tool. But the reality is, we got more power waking up when we sleep. Because that way you connect the dots. See, I would have never got to this point of understanding without having that dream and looking at the setting, right? Because as much as I want to deal with the law of attraction that's coming in March, I need to be able to experience the law of attraction. And I won't be able to experience the law of attraction if my trauma self is still hurting, beaten, and bruised from a fucked up experience, right? It just ain't gonna work. So in all of this hot shit, and I'll be like, all right, everybody, let's take notes. We in the class, we taking notes, and people like, yo, I love the class, and it worked for me, or it don't really work for me, or, you know, 50-50 and shit, or 75-25, however it worked. See, that's cool. But my deeper goal as I move forward is to get much more universal in the approach of occultism and magic. So not only do you see the necessity in it, you also see yourself in it, and you also see how to do it and live in it. The first step, very simply, you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And if you're able to see how these things connect to your whole shit, because so let's talk about 2003, 2002. Man, I was a neighborhood superstar in my mind, and I came from nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just like back then, in my astral body, I'm a square. I guess I'm a square in real life. But shit, nigga, I was copping a QP or some shit or whatever and bagging that shit up and hitting the block with that shit. I was with my homeboys and shit, and, you know, I was just selling my little weed. I wasn't gonna never sell crack because I wasn't never really ready for like 10 to 15, but I'd have did 2, 3, 4 years or whatever. So I was just, you know, a little hustling ass nigga, you know, waking up every day hustling, playing my game or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But my energy was crazy back then. Like my crib it'd be so many people at this spot, and I'd be like, I know they ain't really fuck with me per se, you understand? But it was just wild to me that I could attract that kind of energy. And for real, it wasn't like a life that I would have created outside of the music that I was listening to. So as a square, you would probably be listening to like some Common or some fucking D'Angelo or something like that. And the hood niggas, they be like, yo, you better listen to this Sibo nigga or this fucking Rapping Forte. You can't listen to none of that shit around. You know what I'm saying? You know, niggas will try you for real. You know what I'm saying? So you then begin to have a different musical diet. So your dreams and your goals be a little different. You then start to think like, all right, if I have a car or if I have this or I have that, then I'll be good. And as I'm saying that, I see a lot of men still in that space to this day. You know, getting something exterior, actually protecting yourself and all of these things as the actual value of life. And that's why it's real hard for women to relate to y'all, because the reality is that probably has zero to do with it. But tangent over. So many different things though. Cause it's like when all of that fell down, when all of that was over, it allowed me to kind of progress. But even like, so when things happen, right? Your ego is still like 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, maybe 6 years after a certain event. Your ego is like ISIS, still trying to pick up the pieces and shit. Like, if somebody just went through something and you trying to get through to them or whatever, and they feel they not receptive, that's probably because they're not. You know what I'm saying? And so this is the thing. A such thing as like trauma bonds, right? And you will relate to somebody, or you will be in a relationship with somebody, or you'll be that person in a relationship, but fresh off experience and trauma. All I'm gonna say is don't be confused if it don't work out, no matter what y'all do within that relationship, because trauma bonds, you literally unable to be present because what you experience have been so traumatic that it has literally shattered you, right? So in the space of developing spiritual and psychological protocol, even if it's tarot, even if it's astrology, even if it's a pendulum, even if it's some playing cards, even if it's a calendar, I don't care, a planner, something to get you outside of your trauma as a modality, as a primary function. The reason why we reference the divinatory systems as a primary system before you start to process is because it'll give you a different idea than the bullshit that you was going to think about otherwise, right? So I generally pull a card or look up at a chart or whatever and things of that nature. And so as I'm doing that, I now see that was pretty cool. So I just literally pulled up the chart and started talking. So, you know, it came together quite nice. And I really appreciate y'all for tapping in. The Crown Chakra course is available. It takes place February 20th. But that'll give y'all enough time to do what y'all gotta do y'all pineal gland work, and then prep for the, you know, crown chakra work. And generally that's what it all is about for me. And then into March, we're going to dive deep into some law of attraction shit. I'm gonna try to do a law of attraction super course, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited about that. But Alchemic Academic monthly courses, Columbian Exchange, Spiritual Goods. My readings have reduced because of all of the other shit that we got going on nowadays. I'm reduced to doing readings 2 days a week. But I generally want people to understand that they are spiritual beings having a human experience. So y'all really don't need readings and things of that nature going into this energy. I mean, like, you can want a reading the same way as like you want a car wash or things of that nature, but it's not necessarily a need going into this energy where you got it all figured out. You know, we can learn from each other, we can gain from each other, we can grow with each other, but you know, the certain concepts of one-on-one building and things of that nature is not, it's like try to explain it. The reality of wanting a reading from me is the reality that you are a reader yourself. I am the reflection of you. So I believe in your ability the same as I believe in my ability. Everybody that I fuck with, we are mere reflections of one another. The course atmosphere is an atmosphere of not me just talking the whole time. I know it might feel like that, it might seem like that, but if you wasn't in the course, then you wouldn't know that it was a whole, imagine 60 people on the same exact frequency, right? The same exact frequency, but it's an order to it. I'm just like facilitating an order. But generally, it wasn't a point where input was not looked at, examined, and brought to the table so everybody who was there could learn. The problem with us is that we think we know everything. But I bet you didn't know this. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. Peace.